The Israel Museum's new exhibition is dedicated to a fashion item, but one which we mostly see underground. This special display showcases different burial shrouds from different eras, places around the world, and traditions.
From very early times, Jews were buried in shrouds, mainly white or natural colors, linen or cotton. And it evolved through times. We don't know from when exactly we have special sets of burial shrouds intended for burial. I can tell you that it's not only a Jewish tradition to be buried in burial shrouds, and I don't know if it matters if it's a coffin or not, because even in Israel, those who are being buried in coffins are also dressed in shrouds. And also, we know that in other traditions, in Muslim traditions and Christian traditions, there are shrouds or special clothes for burial, which are not the Sunday bests.
Tradition says that the reason that most of the shrouds are white and don't look like a lavish garment is because of Rabban Gamliel II, a famous Jewish scholar in the 2nd century CE. According to the Talmud, Rabban Gamliel observed that the custom of dressing the deceased in expensive clothing put such a terrible burden on the relatives that they would abandon the body and run. This may also be linked to the famous quote from the book of Genesis 3, "From dust thou art, and unto dust shalt thou return."
If you look at other traditions and you look at what colors are used in mourning or for death in other traditions, for example, Far Eastern traditions and others, and Islam, you will see that white is a color symbolizing purity and repentance, and this is why I think it's also part of the shrouds and also part of the Yom Kippur dress and others. I think it's something that we can find in many, many religions.
Among the items on display, we can see one of the most ancient remains of burial shrouds found in the Dead Sea area of En Gedi. Some other items come from abroad and shed light not only on burial rituals, but also on life in Jewish communities in ancient times.
Shrouds, being a ceremonial object, keep ancient or older dress traditions which no longer exist. For example, here the wearing of talit katan or tzitzit by women in Ashkenaz in the Middle Ages. We don't have the objects anymore. We just have a memory of these objects in the shrouds. Or the Jewish collar, which was very common in Europe until 19th century even, and has disappeared, but it still remains in the shrouds.
This collection of burial shrouds can definitely teach us about the culture, tradition, and fashion of the Jewish people for generations. A tradition which stamped its mark, even if it didn't really see daylight.